Right. Yeah. Say I'm from Virginia where my son is buried. If I ever leave, bury him in Inglewood Cemetery. I'ma do things that's legendary. Got some really big things on the itinerary. Boy, that's why I'm cooking up, that's culinary. Gotta get it done by any means necessary. I'ma state my case even if it's preliminary.
You're
What's good, y'all?
we back with it. Sorry about the missing the last week. That's definitely the fault of my own. Definitely got hectic. I had to remember that I also was in school. That was most of it. It's real easy sometimes to forget these online classes, but you know what I'm saying? They just be hovering around. Started getting some notifications about the class, and I was like, oh, facts. So, peep this, right? So it's an online class, but as per usual with some of these grad classes, I go on there to do a discussion board, and first of all, it's the weirdest discussion board format I've ever seen. Usually, it's
Really?
yeah. Usually, you know what I'm saying. It's you do the reading, you watch the video, whatever. You post like 400 to 600 word thing, and then you respond to your classmates. This joint, the way he does them is like you have to read the stuff, and then your discussion board post is like a 100 to 200 word prompt, and like prompt for other classmates, and you have to give them like 2 additional readings, like scholarly journal readings, and then you have to do like a 300 word reply to 2 other classmates. So I went on there being like, bet I'm gonna just do this, like I'm gonna do this thing, and then I realized, because I'm still thinking it's an online class, so I'm like, I'll go find the book. You know what I mean? Let me go click on this joint and do the reading and stuff. I go on there, I have to buy the book.
Right.
I was like, bro, can we stop this, bro? Because my last class, I didn't have to buy the book. And in this class, I did. I was like, can we just provide the book? Because what is this course fee even for? Like,
bro, I had to buy the books for like my last few online classes. And I remember I was like, the first week where the discussion board was, I was like, I was like, where's the book? Like, I can't find it. I emailed the professor and she was like, yeah, it's not provided. You have to go like buy it. And I was like,
that's crazy.
What?
That's really crazy. I don't like it.
So shout out to Amazon for coming through with the rentals. Much cheaper than buying.
Bro, I had to rent. I rented the ebook. So what is this?
Yeah. I think I did that for like one of my last classes. But shout out to the professors who don't have a book and instead they just, chop up whatever readings they want you to do. And they send you links and like, here's the link to this, read that joint.
Way better.
Shout out to you.
Way better.
Shout out to you because let's be honest. I'm not reading that article.
Yeah.
I'm not reading that book. I'll skim the article.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll skim it.
Facts.
But
I feel that, bro. I feel that for real. Sometimes it backfires though. Like this week, I have a midterm, and I was like, I'm gonna skim. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go back and skim some of the chapters and stuff. I think I read like one chapter, like in earnest, read one chapter, and like the rest of it, we gonna see. You know what I'm saying? We gonna see.
But there was this one class that I had where they had like, quizzes, like weekly quizzes for after the reading. And I literally had to go read every single word of the book because, when you do a quiz, you're normally looking for like big ideas, bold words, you know what I'm saying? Italics, things like that.
For sure.
But this quiz would be asking something that was like buried in one of them like side panels. Like, you know how books will have like the side panels and stuff?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I don't be reading those. So the first time I went to take the quiz, I was like, where did they talk about this? This is nowhere. and like they're literally asking you questions about like, okay, like what did this, like they have that interview with like a researcher that's like in the field or whatever. They're like, okay, like, so what did the researcher say was the problem with this, or what some of the challenges that came along with this? I'm like, I don't know, I didn't read that part. So like after that, I literally had to go read every single word, and I still wouldn't be getting hundreds on this joint. Like I still be like, where did they say this? I was like, I don't know.
They said you were supposed to
I don't
glean
know
the
where they
idea
said
from the
this.
information. Listen,
Bro.
higher education is a grind for all y'all out there. Consider it very carefully.
Yo,
Consider it very carefully.
grind is the correct word.
Facts.
Oh, hold up. There we go. I gotta plug my laptop in. We don't die out here.
Yo, at least this isn't the 5% and die laptop.
Yo, so for those of y'all that don't know, I used to have this other laptop, and you know how you get a warning, you know, when your percentage drops to a certain percentage. So it'd be at like 10%, you know, the warning come on, they'd be like, hey, plug in your PC. Right? I'd be like, every time that laptop would give me the warning, it would die immediately. And the crazy thing is, this is the crazy thing, I would rush to go get my charger and the screen would still be on. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, you got 10%, you got 10%.
Right.
As soon as I plug it in, it dies. It's not dying before I plug it in. It's as soon as I plug it in, wraps. I'm like, every time, bro?
Every time, bro. For y'all out there that know the significance,
I'm like, every time.
This thing made us miss Dame breaking up the OKC, the Carmelo PG Russ Thunder team. This man Dame comes dribbling on the court. It gives the message, and we're like, "What? No!" It shuts off. We turn it back on. Everyone's going absolutely insane. We had to go back. We had to go back and find out what happened.
The replay. We had to catch the replay. And this one, oh, it was crazy. It was the wave too.
It was a wave. Yeah.
We missed all that joint. I think when we cut it back on, it's like the crowd's going crazy. It's that scene where Enes Kanter is like running with his arms out.
Yeah.
And like we're like, what happened?
Facts.
We had to catch the replay.
Bro.
Oh my gosh.
So close.
Bro, you want to talk about top 10 anime betrayals of all time? My laptop betrayed me. My laptop betrayed me.
Yo. All right, y'all. Well, it's good to be back. It's good to be recording. This is definitely one of the highlights of my week. You know what I'm saying? I have a good time doing it. I missed it last week. But you know what I'm saying? We always got to start off with a little object lesson. So, you know what I'm saying? On the last episode, I hope y'all were blessed, you know what I'm saying, by the message on fashion. But that means that this week, it's Miles' turn. And Miles, what I'm going to give you is space. And I mean like outer space type space.
Outer space type space. Oh. All right, give me a second.
I got you.
This is some. Okay. So, in outer space, they call it the vacuum of space, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no air. So let's talk about sound real quick. Let's talk about how sound travels. On Earth, when you speak, you know what I'm saying, your vocal cords, you know, rub together. And they create vibrations in the air. You know, the air is made out of particles. Mm-hmm. We can't see them, but they vibrate. Mm-hmm. That vibration, you know, hits your ears. And we can hear. In space, it's the vacuum of space. There's no air. When you speak, there's nothing there to vibrate. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you didn't have like your helmet on, you know what I'm saying, if you didn't have your helmet on and they didn't have like comms or whatever, you wouldn't be able to hear anything in space. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing there to
For
vibrate.
sure.
So in essence, you can't hear. You can't hear. Let's talk about real life real quick. There are times in your life when you might be going through something. You might be going through something, and you say, "I just need space." You say, "I just need space. Give me some time.
Yeah,
Give me some
for sure,
time.
for sure.
I just need space." But when you say that, what you sometimes mean is, I'm not trying to hear.
Okay.
I'm not trying to hear.
Okay.
I'm not trying to hear from anybody right now. I'm not trying to hear. You put yourself in a position where you're not trying to be influenced by any outside voice. You're not trying to hear from anybody right now. Okay. But what does the Bible say? What does the Bible say about hearing? What does the Bible say about hearing? It says, faith cometh by hearing. And hearing
True.
by the word of God. I say hearing by the word of God. So while you are out here seeking space, trying not to hear, in reality, you need somebody around you who can speak.
That's it. Hold on.
The word
It's
of
actually
God.
a word, low key. It's actually a word, low key.
You need somebody around you that can speak the word of God. Why? Because we just said faith comes by hearing.
For
right?
sure.
Let's talk about one more thing real quick. Let's talk about testimony real quick. Let's talk about testimony real quick. Some of y'all have been through some stuff, and you know you've been through some stuff. And the Bible encourages us to share our testimonies. It encourages us to share our testimonies. And why do you share your testimony? You share your testimony because it helps somebody else recognize that if God did it for you, they can do it for them. You know what I'm saying? It's all you know what I'm saying? What they say, you can't live the Christian life alone.
It's true.
You can't live the Christian life alone. You gotta be in community. God is in community with himself. Yeah. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Even before creation, he was there. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? In community with himself. He was in community with himself. So all that being said, we got you know what I'm saying? We got two parts here. You know, don't isolate yourself. Don't try to be like, I'm not trying to hear. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're going through something, when you're down bad, you know, open up your ears. You know, let somebody speak to you. On the flip side, though, when you see somebody going through something, don't be afraid to speak to them because, you know what I'm saying, on all sides, faith comes by hearing by the word of God. You need somebody to speak into your life, and sometimes you need to speak into somebody's life. So,
yeah, that's a word.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all can take
that's
that.
A word in there.
Y'all can take that one, put it in your pocket for a rainy day.
No jokes around here. Only edification. Shout out to my man Miles. I needed to hear that. I'll probably remember that at some point. Definitely needed to hear that.
For sure.
All right.
This is the craziest thing about that, though.
What's up?
Hold on, real quick. You good. This is the craziest thing about that. I am notorious for wanting to be by myself.
Notorious for not being around other people.
I am notorious for wanting to be by myself.
That's true.
So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to God for probably dropping that in my spirit to speak to me as I speak to y'all.
Wait, won't he do it? Won't he do it, huh? Sometimes you preach the word for yourself. For sure. You know what I mean? All right, y'all.
For sure. That's crazy.
Thank you to Miles for some encouragement on today. We got a couple things to cover today. First one being, so I was watching Netflix earlier this week, right? As one does. And I noticed that there was a Resident Evil thing on there. And at first I thought it was a movie, like it was just a new one of the series of movies that they do. But I clicked on it and it said like 6 episodes or 8 episodes or something, and I was like, oh, it's a TV show. I never played the Resident Evil games, to be perfectly honest. I think I watched
Mm-hmm.
someone play through 6 or 7. I watched someone play through that, but I never played them. I know about them tangentially through playing other
Mm-hmm.
games. And I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. The show is pretty good. You know what I mean? The show is pretty good.
Yeah.
It follows. I'm sure if someone has like played the games, they probably know who these people are. But it follows this family, and the dad works for the company that causes all this stuff. Real evil Big Brother type company called Umbrella, and the dad is a scientist for them, and he makes this antidepressant type drug called joy, and but it has this side effect that essentially turns people into these like zombie type monsters because it was made from a derivative of some virus that they had made earlier or something like that. So he's like, I need to make a cure, but also I need to keep working this job because this company is like all powerful for all intents and purposes. And what ends up happening is, here, I won't spoil too much for you, but what ends up happening is some people get sick, some people close to the main character get sick, stuff starts spiraling, they get real unsure, and you're just like, what is going on? Like, what is going on with all this stuff? So the show is actually pretty good, but it has a couple of my least favorite horror genre tropes. And Miles knows my number one horror movie issue. I hate when people running. When they're running. You know what I mean? It's a zombie chasing you, it's Jason, it's Freddy, it's whoever, and you running. You know what I mean? You sprinting, they right on your tail. And then you trip. And every time someone trips in one of these joints, listen, bro, she'll trip and she laying on her back like this. She laying on her back, ah, ah, staring dead at this zombie that's coming at her. If you don't get up,
Yo, get up.
if you don't, like,
Facts.
bro, I have
Get
seen
up.
people for real, run because they were scared. No one does that. When you fall and you're actually trying to get away from the thing that's coming for you, you start scrambling and you get up and keep running. You know what I'm saying? That's what real people do. But
Facts.
I was like, I gotta quench that anger in me. That's like, bro, this is not happening because she lives. And if you ask me, she lives through some stuff that she should not have lived through. But Miles hasn't seen the show, so we're not here to talk about the show. But it did make me think: what other
Mm.
games and what other games do you think would make good movies or TV shows?
All right. So if we're talking specifically horror movies right
Mm-hmm.
now, uh, I don't dabble a lot in horror, but I do watch Let's Plays
Of
from
course.
time to time. And for those of you who don't know, a Let's Play is when you go on YouTube, go on Twitch, you know what I'm saying, whatever, and you watch somebody else play the game, and they like interacting with the audience. They're playing the game. Um, so I will watch Let's Plays, and what one game that I have never been able to get out of my mind since watching it is
Mm-hmm.
Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a decision-based horror game, and it's
No, that's
insane.
what it is.
It's insane. There's 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 multiple plots going on at the same time. So just when you think you got it figured out, you don't got it figured out. Like and so, the objective of the game is obviously to keep as many people alive as possible. You have to survive until dawn, hence the name. But I was, as he when he asked me like what other games would make a good movie, I feel like you could make a movie out that joint and it would probably be very scary and very good. Um, Especially because with the amount of decisions that can potentially impact the game, you could create an ending, um, or maybe just like different things going on that a lot of people didn't see in the game, and you could be like, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like there's sometimes when you like have to, like when you're trying to adapt a game to a movie or whatever, you put some stuff in, you leave some stuff out, and people are like, that doesn't even make any sense within the context
yeah,
of the game. But with everything that's going on and the amount of branches that are possible within the game, and how many different endings there are, you could probably just like do anything you wanted. You could kill who you wanted to kill, save who you wanted to save, and it'd be like, oh yeah, I could see that, and it would like make sense. Because there are some times where they try to like do too much in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Be doing too much. Because that's what one problem is like you see people try to adapt a game into a movie and they try to do too much with it. So,
like what?
uh, so like I think the most recent game into a movie that I saw was Uncharted,
Hmm.
and Uncharted is my favorite game series. PlayStation murdered it, or yeah, PlayStation murdered it with Uncharted. I love every single game. But when I watched the movie, I enjoyed the movie, but I think that they did a little bit too much trying to, I guess, introduce the world. Um,
Hmm.
because they had to like kind of they try to, what I'm saying, they got to put some background in there, background information in there, so people don't feel like you're just dropped in somewhere and like you don't know what's going on. So they tried to do the part where they introduce like the main characters and have their like background, uh be
So
established.
first movie always got to be an origin story.
um it could be that, but the thing for me though is like that origin that they picked was just not true to the game. it
Hmm.
was it was definitely different. You know, in the
So that's not
game,
the
like
Nathan Drake I know.
it's not the Nathan Drake I know. um, um, like in the game, they like the Nathan Drake and Sully, James Sullivan, uh in the
Hmm.
game they meet like when he's like 13, and you don't even like really get that backstory to like I think the third game, maybe, and it could be the fourth game. I don't remember exactly. Um, but it's definitely not the first game. But in this movie, they meet um, when Nathan Drake's probably in his 20s, um, and Sullivan is like a treasure hunter trying to, figure out
Hmm.
some different stuff. Um, they have my man Nathan Drake working as a bartender, which, as far as I can remember, that was not part of the game at all. As far as
Oh,
like when when
this may
when
be
they
a
introduce
this may be a
like
purist low key.
I'm not saying that like that's not part of it at all. I'm just saying like based on what what I'm saying they tell us like when the game introduces itself to us, he's already a treasure hunter. Like he's literally in the middle of the ocean looking for uh Sir Francis Drake's coffin. So
Yeah,
that's the reason I say that. I'm not saying that like, oh, it's not, feasible that he was. I'm just saying that like that feels like extraneous information that they didn't necessarily have to put in there. That's all I'm saying.
that's fair. That's fair. I feel like there's a little bit of like there's some things you can do with games that you can't do with movies because like with a game, I feel like it's easier to just be like, I'm not going to explain this stuff right now because you gain the connection to the character through playing as the character. Whereas in a movie, I feel like it'd be easier to be like, hey, yo, who is this dude? And why do I care? Why do I care that he's like getting shot at? You know what I mean?
That's
I
fair.
definitely, I think, let me actually Google this. Let me know if this is information that I'm actually supposed to have or not.
Information you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
My man Fee got his ear to the streets. He knows stuff you're
I
not
do
supposed to know yet.
go my ear to the streets for sure. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So um Amazon picked up God of War.
Oh,
Um
really?
yeah, Amazon
I
picked up
didn't know
God of
that.
War. So that might go crazy.
Look,
That might go crazy.
I'm playing God of War right now. I think it's the first one. That
The
joint
first
is
one? Dang,
amazing.
throwback. Facts.
Yeah, that joint is immaculate. That joint is
It's very
immaculate.
good. Well, I mean,
Like
Kratos is a very complex character. No cap. Well, tortured, I should say.
facts. Shout out to Kratos,
It's
bro.
crazy. Facts.
Yeah, that's a very fun game. It's a very fun game.
Definitely. I remember when I first saw a playthrough of those games, I was like, dang, like, Loki should have got a PlayStation because I had a 360.
I be trying to tell people.
Made some mistakes. Made some mistakes in my life. You know what I mean? But
I
it's
be trying
alright.
to tell people. PlayStation is elite. PlayStation is
It is.
elite.
They've been toward the top of the game for a minute now, ever since the PS2. Probably ever since the first one, honestly. But look,
Like I've been PlayStation. I got my first console was the PlayStation 2, so I'm biased, but am
first
I?
console, GameCube. Shout out, shout out to the game.
Facts.
It's biased, but like it's not like a wrong bias opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
No, I genuinely think that if they made a TV show out of it, I think that it would be lit to have a BioShock TV show.
Mm.
BioShock just got a bunch of random like a bunch of layers to unpeel and stuff. I think it'd be lit. I think it'd be absolutely lit.
Yeah, I don't know much
Seeing
about
people go to
Bioshock. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you good. Like you play as this guy who is like wrecked and goes to this city called Rapture. And the city is essentially like this underground haven for like rich people, but like obviously everything goes wrong because of these drugs they were taking. There's like this substance called Adam and there's this substance called Eve. And like there's a whole bunch of stuff. It gets thick. It gets pretty thick. So it'd be pretty
Hmm.
good. It'd be fun to play. No cap.
I think I played a little bit of it when it was like the free game of the month. I played a little bit of it. Definitely
Which
creepy.
one? The first one or Infinite? I know Infinite is one
uh,
a lot of people play.
I think it was the first one, like where like they have the ship or the plane wreck, and then
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
finds the city.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they're definitely creepy. They're very creepy. If you go back and play it on some original consoles, the graphics do not hold up super well, but the graphics do not hold up super well. But they still though. It's still good. It's still a good game.
Hmm.
So, all right, listen. Be honest with you, that cut took me off this topic mentally. So we finna move on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk about life. I'm trying to talk about things that I do more often. I don't play games very often. I did it socially and now I don't have a console, so I don't do it too much.
Hmm.
But what I do is engage in sports. So that's what we finna get into a little bit. We was talking about it slightly uh while we was getting back on the call. But for those of y'all who don't watch track and field, there's a couple names that I want y'all to look into. All right, people know about Sha'Carri Richardson because of all that, not all that stuff that was happening before Tokyo. But men's sprinter, there's two names. Uh, Arian Knighton, he's like 18 years old, and he's faster than Usain Bolt was at his age. But
That's insane. Oh
yeah,
my god.
so he's on pace to be one of the fastest ever. He's already one of the fastest ever. He ran like the fourth fastest 200-meter sprint time ever. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, and he's 18, so he's coming. But then there's a guy who's in his like mid 20s. His name is Noah Lyles, and that one is similar to who we're going to talk about, where he just ran the 200, the world's championships for track and field is what's going on right now, and he just ran him. Arian Knighton and him are having a little bit of a budding rivalry, and this man Noah Lyles absolutely smoked the competition in the 200-meter final. He smoked him. It was kind of crazy. Um, and he broke the U.S. sprint record by like a tenth of a second. So he ran like a 20. He ran like a 20 point like 2-1, and it used to be like 2-2 or something like that, 0.22. So he broke the record, which is lit, and it was lit because at first the when he crossed the timer, it said that he tied the record, and then they go through and they adjust to see if they actually ran slower or whatever, and his actually got faster. So it was 2-2, and they're like, he just tied the American record. This is crazy. And then they dropped it to 2-1, and they were like, oh, he broke it. And it was
That's
so this man
crazy.
was going crazy.
That's
He a
crazy.
character, but the one we really here to talk about is if y'all don't know. So I ran track in middle school. I ran track in seventh, eighth grade. In seventh grade, I was way better in seventh grade. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe I grew. Maybe it's just because I stopped running. I don't know what happened. But in seventh grade, um, I ran the 110 hurdles, and in eighth grade, ran 110 hurdles. But I think I grew a little bit. My legs got longer and that kind of thing. So my coaches tried to put me in all this other stuff that I just did not. They put me in discus. They put me in and they put me in distance. They put me as a distance runner, even though I wanted to be a sprinter. I wanted to run the 200. They put me in the 800. Um,
Gross.
no, bro, absolutely terrible. But this is what made me absolutely pissed off. So my coach takes me out of the sprint. So this is what I'm used to. And then he tells me I had to run the last couple meets. I had to run the 400-meter hurdles. And let me tell
Hmm.
you something. The 400-meter hurdles is the hardest thing physically that I have ever had to do. Like,
Really?
yes, because here's the thing: the 400-meter is already a sprint. Like,
Hmm.
it's when people run it, you'd think it's like, oh, it's 400 meters, it's a whole lap. I should take this easy. I should take this slow, whatever. You can't do that because it's just in this kind of weird range where like you have to kind of go all out or like mostly all out, or else you're gonna get left behind. You know what I mean? So like it's within the human realm of possibility. So that's like what you have to do. It's like a weird thing to explain. And the 400
Hmm.
meter hurdles is essentially just that, but now you're jumping every. Now you're jumping over 10 hurdles while you're running around this track. So
That's
I remember
crazy.
the last couple times. Listen, I was not built for it. The last couple things I'd be running, I'd be like, and I come to a hurdle, and I would like slow way down, and I just kind of jump over it, and then I keep running.
Hmm.
No smoothness, no nothing. But
That's funny.
there's a woman, Sydney McLaughlin had potentially the best year a human being has ever had. So last summer, she won the gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics for the 400-meter hurdles.
Tough.
She did that. She got married. And then during the worlds that we've been talking about, she broke her own record, mind you. She broke the world 400-meter hurdle record. And here's the thing, like what usually happens in the women's 400 meter hurdles is that there's a woman who she's very competitive with named Dalilah Muhammad, and her and Dalilah will be going at it the whole time. Sydney will like edge her out, and she breaks a world record doing it, which is already insane. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this year, Dalilah she got COVID twice. She got COVID twice, and then also I think took some time off or something else. Um, but so it's a World Championships, and mind you, I think Dalilah still got like second or third in the championships despite all this. But second place behind Sydney McLaughlin was over a second behind her, which in the track and field world is a long time. Is a long time.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
This woman, the previous world record was, I believe, 52, like somewhere around 52 or like somewhere just below 52 or something like that.
I think they said it was like 51.4 or 51.5 or something like that.
Yeah. And so they're like, maybe, like, we're probably going to see there like a race between Dalilah and Sydney, and we'll probably see her break the world record. And people were like, it would be amazing if she, it would be amazing if she broke the world record, just one. And it would be amazing if she got sub 51. And I'll be honest with you, she was real close to being sub 50. Like Miles watched it, and listen, you tell me. I'm gonna be honest. When she was on that last 100, I was like, she might hit 49. I don't know, but
it was. She was moving, bro.
She was
moving.
Moving, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? Just want to give a shout out to all the things that are going on in the sports world. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Noah Lyles, shout out to Sydney McLaughlin for your record. Shout out to Shelly Ann Fraser Price, a Jamaican woman. She's won 5 100 meter dash titles. Absolutely insane. And she did this one after having a kid a little bit ago. So some people out there are just special, bro, for real. But we're going to stay on the sports topics. Y'all should know by now, we're Bronze Stands and by proxy Laker fans.
Facts.
Miles, I'm going to lay this out for you, bro.
I bet.
I'm gonna just ask you this first. How are you feeling about the current failure to trade Russell Westbrook? And do you think that we should trade Russell Westbrook?
So how do I feel about the current failure to trade him? I feel like it's slightly expected. And this is the reason why. He has almost zero trade value right now. And and so people are like, go back and like look at Russell Westbrook's numbers from last year. I think they said he had like averaged 18, 7, and 7. Which that's better, I think, than people giving. It's better than I gave him credit for.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, and I think I talked about this in one of the other episodes. The problem is that when he was not hooping, he looked so bad.
Yeah.
It's the lows that are like it's the lows that are like really low lows. And so his trade value, so not only is that like the lows are really low lows, it's also that the Lakers have just been publicly saying like, we're trying to get off of him, right?
Yeah.
So that means that like teams know like they really want to move away from him, so they're like, well, we don't have to give you our best offer because you're the one that's desperate here, not us. And then also they're like, if he's a problem for y'all, like what makes you think we want your problem, you know? So I remember a few months ago, the big trade that like people were thinking was gonna probably take place was with Houston. They were gonna be like, oh, well, they'll just trade for John Wall, and they'll do Russell Westbrook for John Wall and like a pick, like Russ and a pick for John Wall or something like that. But the Lakers, they don't have any picks really, except for like they got a 2027 first round pick and a 2029 first round pick.
They got some seconds.
Yeah, nobody wants second round picks. Nobody wants second round picks, and first round picks are like I guess it depends on how you look at it. You can find some gems late in the first round, but if you expect the team to be good, like you might not want their first round pick either, because they're not going to be a lottery pick. So how do I feel about the current state of Russell Westbrook failure to get traded? I'm not really surprised. Also, the Lakers front office is just not like that right now. They're not like that.
You're not rocking with Rob Pelinka.
They're in chaos. I mean, I don't have any particular feelings towards Rob or against Rob. It's just they're just not getting it done.
I have feelings against Rob. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Why you got feelings against Rob?
I don't like the job that he's done in general. I don't like the job that he's done in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the roster that came in 2020 was good. Okay, I'll say this. Part of it is unfair. Because the roster that had Montrez and all them, when I remember when that was initially happening, I thought that was going to be a really good team. I did think that was going to be a really good team. But I will say, they didn't they don't make moves mid-season. Like, I didn't feel like they made good moves mid-season anyway. And I think maybe it's just personally because of anti Westbrook for most of his career, or like not anti Westbrook, but like I think he's entertaining. I wouldn't want him on any of my teams. Like, when I saw that trade went through, I was not a fan of it in particular. I was like, okay, so we gave up like KCP and Kuz, who are like turning into really good like 3-and-D players, for Russ, who was already at this point we knew was not OKC Russ.
He was still getting triple doubles, but it was not pretty.
But here's the thing: he gets triple doubles. I would rather have the numbers of triple doubles he was getting. I would just rather have Lonzo Ball. He got very Lonzo Ball-esque triple doubles, and Lonzo plays better defense.
I wasn't a fan of the trade because the other option was Buddy Hield.
Facts.
And
Buddy Hield's a dog.
And Buddy Hield, you know what I'm saying? If you watch the Lakers, what do they always need?
Shooting.
Need shooters. And they said, let's not get the shooter.
Facts.
In fact, let's get the non-shooter.
They said, let us get West Brick.
So yeah. But this is the crazy thing though. I remember that summer when they had both of those trades on the table. I still thought that the price was way too high for both of them in general. Yeah. I would have rather had Buddy Hield, but the price they were asking was insane.
Here's the thing though.
I was like,
there's a podcast I listened to called The Mismatch on the Ringer. And one of them always says you can't overpay for good players, like legitimately good players. And I kind of agree with that principle, where it's like, if you look back and you're like, dang, like we kind of overpaid for this guy, but like he's performing and he's good. I don't think anyone's ever going to be like, seriously, we overpaid for that person.
That's fair, but I don't know. I don't. I wish I could remember exactly what they were asking for. I can't remember exactly what they were asking for, but at the time I was just like, I'd rather them do this deal, but I think it's like because they were taking people that I was like, nah, like these are solid contributors to the team. I will say one of the most egregious things that Rob Pelinka has done, to your point of having things against him, in my opinion, is allowing AC to walk.
Facts. I knew it was coming, bro. I knew it was coming, bro. Terrible.
I am a Alex Caruso fan. I am an Alex Caruso fan, and I was disappointed when they did not re-sign him, because what did he do? He went to the Chicago
Bulls of the year
Bulls
candidate
and immediate impact.
He's a winning player.
This is the crazy. He is, bro. And this is the thing too. One problem we see with the Lakers, they have many problems, but they don't really have a lot of of youth. So they're like one of, if not the oldest team in the league. But you know what that leads to a secondary problem. If you're an old team, you're not trying to try all the time.
You're not at all.
This man, Alex Caruso, tries all the time.
Facts.
I was listening to his he did an interview with JJ Redick on his show. And like the one thing they talked about was like this man Alex Caruso was like top 5 or like in the league, and I think they said he might have even led the league at one point of like ball pokes, like poking the ball away. I was like, that's insane. And I think they said he was averaging like 4 pokes a game or something like that. I'm like, 4 pokes a game,
bro. So crazy, bro.
People don't you don't average like people like what the steals leader average what, like how many steals a game do like the steals leaders average?
3, 4.
Like I don't. Okay, so like 4 pokes a game, that's crazy. Like you gotta recognize like these are NBA players. They all got handle.
No, for real. No, they all do.
You know what I'm saying? To some extent, they all have handle. Like even though like the worst dribblers, they still can keep control of the ball, and you're poking it away 4 times a game.
No, it's actually insane.
That's crazy.
Him and
like,
Lonzo.
That's
him
trying.
And Lonzo as a duo made the Bulls a defensive presence in the East. Like it's crazy, and they're gonna do it again next year, and then they're also gonna have Patrick Williams,
and they're gonna be they're gonna be healthy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, like how do we let this man walk, and then get like nothing in return? Like we're out here playing THT,
and wasn't it like
get traded, like,
and wasn't it like it was. This is gonna sound crazy, but it was only like the Bulls only offered like a few more million, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like a 2-year some odd million deal. I was like, for real? Like,
and like y'all didn't offer him that.
They gave THT the mid-level. They gave THT like the 2 years 10. I was like, bro, come on, bro, come on.
Like pay my man AC,
him, bro, please. Him and LeBron, bro.
And say now we got
duo.
Facts, and now we got Austin Reeves, who
he's not
trying
like
to try
that though. He's not the same, bro.
He's not the same. But yeah, that's the thing. Like Lakers getting old, they don't want to try all the time. You know what I'm saying? What was the second thing you asked me about Russ? Do I think he'll get traded? That's what it was. Do I think he'll get traded? That's a hard question to ask or answer, I should say. That one's a little bit harder to answer. Because like I said, his trade value is so low, and the Lakers are stingy. Like they are really not trying to include anybody or anything else in this trade. They are not trying to give nobody else up for this. So I don't know. We might see something get done. It'll probably just have to be to a team that like just needs to get Russ off the books next year or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. I
But
feel like that's the sell. Like Russ is an expiring contract. And maybe teams are like, yeah, so we'll just wait the year. But I'm like, some of y'all need to tank so that you can get this man Victor Wembanyama. You know what I mean? Some of y'all need to tank. So get Russ.
that's that
Yeah,
French player, right?
that man is freaking a basketball deity, bro. I don't know how to explain it, bro. If you haven't seen his,
They say he what,
yeah,
7'2"?
bro. If you haven't seen his highlights, you need to go watch it, bro. Him and Chet are actually like, I don't, they don't physically make sense in my head. Like you should not be this tall, hitting like hezzy in and out, pull up, midi, splashing. Like what are you talking about?
Well, in Chet's case, Chet was always tall, wasn't he? Like he was always tall,
He's been pretty
or
tall
like
for a while.
because I wonder, like when we think about Anthony Davis, he's what,
Yeah.
6'10", but like he didn't hit his growth spurt until like late high school.
Yeah.
So like he was always training as a guard. So like, okay, I can see that he was a guard, so he had guard skills and he just grew.
No, these are
With these two dudes, were they always
these
tall,
are tall
or like
kids.
did they have a growth
These
spurt?
are tall kids. I mean, I'm sure they had growth spurts, but like they've been tall their whole careers. These are tall kids.
Well, when I say growth spurt, like late
no,
growth spurts type
no.
thing.
At least not that I'm aware of. Like these are tall kids who have grown up in an era watching Kevin Durant. And they said, I'm tall, but that doesn't mean that I can't have guard skills. Like I can't train to have guard skills. And it's showing. Like it's showing very much so. It's crazy. Like the fact that Chet is like the same height as like Jabari Smith Jr. And Jabari Smith, center, very good center, athletic, can shoot the ball a little bit. You know what I mean? Strong, lob threat, all these different things. He's gonna do really well, I think, on the Rockets. But the fact that him and Chet are the same height, and Chet is like, give me the ball, I'll bring the ball up the court. I'm an offensive threat. Like all these different type of things, like it's crazy. Like it doesn't. They're aliens playing in the league, bro. They're literal aliens.
That's wild.
Like it's just, yeah. If anyone out there feels like being amazed, go watch Chet and go watch Victor Wembanyama, and remember that the people that you're seeing move are over 7 feet tall. Like they're over 7 feet tall.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely scary. It's absolutely scary for real. But man, we've been talking about sports for a minute. We're gonna move on to this last thing. Some other things coming up today, but this last thing, it's not a topic so much as us just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Me and Miles and I went to school together, and I'm still in school doing it online, but Miles graduated this last May. So it's only been like a month and a half. So
yeah,
you know what I mean, what's the postgraduate life been like?
A lot of job applications. Yeah, it's been a lot of job applications. For me, it's like a little bit different situation. I live in Tennessee, and we moved here right after I graduated high school. So for me, like I don't really know anybody here. I kind of just was here during like summer breaks and winter breaks. So it's not so like I don't have like a lot of you know what I'm saying, like I guess opportunities to like go out and stuff like that and like meet people. Which for me, like that's fine. I'm not like a super like go out and meet everybody and make connections person. But yeah, so this isn't what like postgraduate like life is like for everybody. It's just like for me, it's basically what this disclaimer is. But it's been a lot of job applications. I've been Going to the gym more consistently. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so I'll probably be in the gym four 4 days a week on average. Try to do 5 days, but probably closer to 4 days a week. And then other than that, be on Indeed.
Shout out to Indeed, bro. Shout out to Indeed.
This week I've been trying to rework my resume a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We haven't been getting a lot of callbacks or whatever the case may be. So my parents were like, why don't you try to redo your resume a little bit to you know, if people aren't calling you back, maybe there's just some stuff on there that you know, they're not seeing what they want to see. So we can try to fix that up. So that's what we've been doing this week. Yeah, I don't really have much else. You know, go to church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? We be watching Wednesday night services. You know what I'm saying? Saturdays, you know, Saturday, Sunday, sometime do this podcast. So, but you know, I'm trying to pick up some other interests too. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back into reading.
No cap, bro.
I was a big book person. When I was younger. Mostly fiction. But now I'm trying to read these nonfiction books, and let me tell you, it's a struggle.
You gotta find the right author.
It's just, well, I mean, like, it's a struggle for me because, like, these are like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, not exactly like self-improvement necessarily, but it's kind of like on the like development type books and stuff. And I don't know why it's a struggle for me to read them, but it's like, what's moving the plot forward? Like, like, do not, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, bro. So what's moving the plot? It's no plot.
I don't know.
It's not a story.
Well, I love stories, so love stories. Yeah, so trying to get back on that wave of reading. Because you know what I'm saying, we always like to add knowledge, you know. And then I'll be watching anime, so I'll be keeping up with what's coming out in the seasons, catching up with some stuff I've never watched, and yeah,
minutes I've been able to watch. But that's what's up, bro. Just always trying to check in. You know what I'm saying?
You know, how's your first Lynchburg summer going? It's your first time being in Lynchburg.
I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Lynchburg summers are lit. The people didn't lie. They're like they're super calm. Like they're super calm.
Yeah.
I was meeting with Pastor James the other day, and he was talking about how like the buzz of when people start coming back on campus, like you can feel it in the city. So that'll be interesting to feel because the summers are really calm, and I appreciate it so far. I'm interested to see how, if at all, my life will kind of change when students come in. I think, oddly enough, I think that school will get harder when students come in because I feel like I'm gonna want to like bring people from campus over, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's definitely gonna feel weird. Like, oh, people are in class right now, but like I'm sitting here in my cubicle doing like writing an article or something. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely gonna feel interesting. But I appreciate it though. I appreciate the summers out here. There's definitely I think there's a lot of like underground, like I say underground kind of things that go on here that I was just never hip to. I'm still not hip to, but like I'm like hearing about it more, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely gonna be trying to exercise the human interaction muscle and do a little bit more because the summer definitely allows for it. But it's actually nice. I see why people I see why people end up staying. I see why. But you know what I mean? Far be it from me, you know what I mean, to do so. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, bro. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Sorry about the little breaky. A little
That joint was
breaky,
crazy.
but it's all right. We back now. You know what I mean? We'll see you on the next one.